How did you choose your first race car? I'm Cherokee Muncie, and I'm going to tell you my answer. A little while before I turned 16, I went and mowed somebody's yard for all summer for a 1994 Nissan hardbody 4-wheel drive, all the good stuff, and it didn't have an engine. So I had planned on taking and putting an engine in it, getting it running and everything by the time I turned 16. I, unfortunately, am not very fast at working on stuff, so the truck sat there for a long time and it wasn't fixed by the time I turned 16. So me and Dad went car shopping and we found this 1995 Mustang. It's blue, it's a V6, it's a perfect starter car for somebody that's learning how to drive, and we bought it. Got home with it. I drove that Mustang for just a little while, and I started getting a little too comfortable with driving a car on the street. A few things turned into another, and I ended up running off of the road over a little ditch, through some little locust trees, and my parents were furious. I didn't get to drive for the rest of the school year. I didn't get to drive again until I saved up money and bought my own vehicle again. So at an early age, I learned that I was gonna be a vehicle hoarder. I had this little Mustang sitting in the yard for years. I was driving back and forth to school, graduated, driving back and forth to work, been through different vehicles, traded around and whatnot. And I decided one day that I was tired of looking at that little wrecked Mustang in the yard. So I went to pull apart and I bought me a fender and a bumper, and I straightened out the door. I took it to the drag strip. Yep, little V6 Mustang ripping down the drag strip, speeding past everybody in 11 seconds flat. I knew it was slow. I knew it was gonna be slow. But I grew up with my dad bracket racing, and he never had the fastest car. I learned at an early age that a fast car don't mean nothing. So I started practicing with it a little bit, trying to find the tree, trying to get it consistent. And when I first started taking this car to the track, it was very consistent. It would run 11-14 with a 2, then 11-14 with a 1, then 11-14 with a 0, and it just keeps going back to back, one number faster every single time. So I entered it into a bracket race, a points bracket race. I couldn't cut a lot, but it would run the number. If only I could cut a lot. So for the next couple years, I was changing this and that and that and this on the Mustang, and now it won't run consistent, but I can cut a lot in it. And sometimes if I'm on my A game, so I started doing things to the car, changing the car a little bit, still practicing, and then one day I realized that I got better on the tree, but my car is not consistent anymore. Somewhere along the line, I messed up the consistency in the Mustang. Wow, I've really veered away from the question that I asked myself at the beginning of the video. Y'all don't want to hear about me being inconsistent or trying to learn how to cut a lot. If you do, I'll make a video on that. I plan on making a video on that. I'm going to ask a little bit of a different question, I guess. Because somebody, I know somebody is kind of curious, why is this guy racing a V6? If you wasn't curious, you're probably curious now since I brought it up. It's because I didn't want to build nothing. I wanted to race, and I took that Mustang that was sitting in the yard that I know it runs, and I know it has a good transmission in it because I had to put one in it, and I know that the motor is going to be a little good because we had to do a little bit with the motor back when I was driving it on the street. So I've got this good car sitting out there that all it needs is a couple little body panels and it's good to go. So I took it to the racetrack. I didn't want to make a whole lot of big changes at the same time. So I would buy a little $200 part here and a little $300 part here. Before I knew it, I had quite a bit of money tied up into this V6. So now I don't want to go completely do a 180 and goes to a V8 just because I want to go faster. A little bit of a teaser for you guys. One day, I am going to put that little V6 at least in the 8s. I know I can do it. I know how to do it. I just need the motivation to do it. And a garage. I want to take my little V6 Mustang out there and outrun these V8 Chevys and Dodges. I think it'll be fun. And it's going to be fun. You guys know I just built a V8 for an El Camino. And I'm going to be racing that next year. But to answer the second question, why is it still a V6? It's because I don't want to spend the money for a V8. If I am going to spend the money for a V8, I'll build a Chevrolet. And I did. So I've got my V8 and I've got my V6 and I'm content. In the past 4 years that I've been racing it, all I've done is change oil and spark plugs on it. What do you guys think when you're pulled up into the staging lanes beside a little sanded down V6 Mustang set up like a real race car, but you know deep down inside that it's a V6 because it's dialed in the 10s. Some of the guys that race against me more often than others, your input's probably going to be a lot funnier. I don't know, somebody that's raced me one time, or if you can remember the first time you raced me, I want to know what went through your mind. Me being a little teenage kid with a V6 Mustang, I want to know. But I don't want to be like other drag racers. I want to stand out a little bit. And you know the best way to stand out? Consistently racing a V6. If I wanted to be like everybody else, I would have built a V8. But I'm different, because I'm me. Thank you guys for watching. I had a whole lot of fun recording this video. This is probably the closest you've seen yet of my real personality. Nobody's home right now. And I'm just yelling at the camera the way that I yell at people when I'm driving down the road by myself. This is the closest to me as you guys have been so far. And I hope that this strategy works for me, works for you guys. If it does, you guys are going to see a whole lot more of this in the near future. Make sure you check out our sponsors, Christie's Customs and Photography. She's the one who supplies all the shirts and cups that I give away. She makes all the stickers for my car, made all the shirts that I wear, made this hat. Go check her out. Check out her Facebook. Tell her that I sent you. Also, go check out Contingency Connections. What they do is awesome. They have helped me so much. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you push all the buttons to help support Muncie Racing. We'll see you guys next time. I really want to put that part in the video, but I know that I can't. Oh my god. So I just got the best blooper, and I really don't know what to do with it. That little V6 is a little bit more... That little V6